Well, hey, Joe, good to see you.
Good to see you, Dave. You see, I'm dressed a little different today.
I see that it must be because today is the winter solstice. Is that what it is?
Well, not quite. It's scuba, and if we're going to talk about scuba, well, I wanted to actually feel it. So, how do you feel something? Well, you dress the part.
Gotcha. And then remind everybody, SCUBA stands for
Self-contained, unique business learning apparatus. Just
exactly.
like when you go diving, you got to have the right tools and equipment. When you start a business or when you're running a business, you got to have the right tools and equipment. And that's what brainSHARE Online and Scuba is all about.
Fantastic. And that's exactly right. And we've been talking about this now for a few sessions. We get to meet every other week and gives people some special information that's tied to building a business that works without them. And today we really wanted to kind of take this concept of scuba and scuba to a little more practical level so people get to see that there is significance here and why it is that they need to do certain things in their business if they want to be successful. Correct?
That's right, Dave. And that's why we're here today. And just like building a business, just like running a business, scuba's not for everybody. And building a business is not for everybody.
Yeah.
So, building a business is the hardest thing you'll ever do.
Right.
So you got to make sure that something that you really are really going to allocate the time, effort, and energy to do, and get the right skills to do it, get the right certifications, just like in
And get
scuba.
so you get things done. Well, why don't we dive into the conversation here? Because we got some things that we wanted to talk about. Because when you look at business, I mean, the way we've got it here is, and this is part of your planning. How deep will you dive versus where do you want to go in business, right?
That's right, Dave. It's all about, what do you want out of it? Your business needs, first you need to define your personal goals, and your business should support your personal goals. So
Right.
what are your personal goals? Define those and then build your business to achieve your personal goals.
And one of the things that you and I were talking about, Joe, is that there is a thing, your objective of where you want to go and what you want to do does dictate the structure of your business. It dictates if you're going to be diving in any way, shape, or form. What your objective is dictates what equipment that you need. Isn't that right?
Yeah, what equipment you need, how you plan it, how much resources you need. I mean, you don't, if you're going snorkeling, you don't need a tank and a BC and all the other stuff. But there are things that you got to plan for, you need to know if you're going to snorkel.
So how does that relate into the structure of a business?
Well, snorkeling, you're typically at the top of the thing. All you need is mask, snorkel, fins, and know how to swim.
Right. And in business,
So business, if you're having, your personal goals are set up where, hey, I'm not going to do a big business. I'm just going to snorkel at the top. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to make up some numbers, $1 million. I'm going to have one or two employees. You're snorkeling at the top, and that's your goals and objectives. You don't need a full blown infrastructure, 50-page business plan, super intense marketing plan, sales plan. You're at a very high level, and you're just skimming along. So
so
your business,
what I'm hearing you say is that you can create a business with a particular objective. Maybe it's a little bit of a what some people are calling the side hustle, so that you can make a little extra income by doing some kind of business activity, whether it's part-time service work or an online business or whatever. But it doesn't necessarily require, in that type of a structure, it doesn't require all the infrastructure that you might need if you were going to be trying to build an international business.
or doing a deep dive.
Right, right.
Exactly, Dave. And those goals of a solopreneur or a side hustle. Understand what you're building. Understand what you're doing. If you're snorkeling, you don't need the equipment. But if you try going diving with snorkeling equipment, you're going to be in trouble.
Right, right. Which takes us to the next level. If you want to do a more significant thing, it's not just a hobby or just a part-time thing. You really want to build something that could create some kind of legacy for yourself, for your family, whatever. That is a a mechanism for providing the income that so that you can meet your personal objectives, then that's sort of like, instead of near surface snorkeling, scuba diving some. So you could, because now you have a different structure that you need. Is that a nice way
A
of
different
saying that?
structure, different investment, different level of commitment. Snorkeling, you don't need any certifications. Snorkeling, you don't need much of anything. Mass snorkel fins, and off you go. Maybe a
Mhm.
wetsuit, off you go. You don't need a lot for that, but
Mhm.
that's what you're going to get out of it too, is the snorkeling. Now you start getting into scuba diving. Hey, you're going underwater. You're breathing underwater.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
right.
So you need a whole lot more in your regards to your business plan, in regards to your marketing strategies, your sales training, your operational delivery aspect of things. Now you're getting serious.
You may need
Uh,
some different financial resources as well, or you may need to have a different perspective on that revenue generation and cost of client generation, all that kind of stuff
well, and
versus.
the risks and the rewards go up substantially. I
Hmm.
mean, now you're diving. Guess what? You run out of air, you're in big trouble. You're going to die.
Right,
When you're snorkeling, hey, you just stick your head up. You're okay,
right,
right?
right, right, right.
So yeah, the risks are better, but the rewards are so much better. I mean, scuba to me is the most relaxing, best thing on the planet. The visual, the things you get to see are so cool. And just like in business, the things you're going to experience are so cool,
Hmm.
but it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody, and you need to be prepared to engage at the level that you have determined is your objective, right?
Absolutely. This is a whole lot more planning, a lot more investment, a lot more knowledge. This is starting to really build a business. This is getting serious here.
Got it. And then we talked about that you can really go crazy. The whole thing of deep sea diving. These guys that you see that are down, 100 fathoms or 60 fathoms or whatever, they're way down, walking on the surface of the ocean floor, exploring wrecks and things like that. They have to be in a completely different protective environment. And it's like, if you're going to build a business that is um, like we mentioned before, international in scope, there are other things you have to consider, not just what you're doing here, but other laws, other requirements. How can you get your product or service delivered in another country? Blah blah blah. So there's a lot that you have to think about, and it's a completely different animal. Yeah.
It's a completely different animal. I mean, you're talking about, hey, to get, how do you get down that deep?
Right.
It's a completely different strategy. You, just like in business, you're going to have completely different strategies, tactics, equipment. Everything changes.
Personnel.
Personnel, big time, boy. You're going to need a whole support crew when you're doing deep sea diving. And I don't mean just a couple. You probably have 50 to 100 support people when you're doing deep sea diving like that. Whereas when you're diving, maybe a half a dozen, a dozen. When you're snorkeling, you don't need much, but you can do it yourself.
And if you're building a large business, you've got the additional requirements from the legal side. So your legal team might be larger because you're dealing with international implications of
International
different countries.
laws, international regulations.
Right. And then
Um,
your finances, you've got different currencies, but also different tax requirements in different countries. So this builds, the analogy here is the kind of support team that you are going to need for a large business is different than it is for a small business or for a solopreneur versus snorkeling, scuba diving, or deep sea diving.
That's right. And your business plans need to be congruent with where you want to go. Okay. So, and most people don't jump into deep sea diving.
Yeah, right. Right.
Okay. You don't just start there. Oh, I'm going to go get all this stuff done. No, most people can start with snorkeling and learning how to swim, or
Right.
starting a business and getting going, and then they start scuba diving, get certified. It builds on itself, just like your business continues to evolve. Your business plans have to change. Your financials change. Everything gets more sophisticated in your business as you grow or as you evolve to achieve your goals.
And that's where brainSHARE.online and Scuba comes into play, because we are providing that foundational information that you need upon which you can build to go to that next level and the level after that and the level after that. And a lot of these principles, the fundamentals and principles are going to be the same. If you're snorkeling or if you're deep sea diving, you have to have a way to breathe when you need to breathe, right?
That's right. Because and businesses, this is your financials. If you don't have air, which is money for your business, you're not going to survive very long.
Right,
And how do you
right.
get money? It's sales. So you don't have sales, you don't have a business.
Exactly. So strategy and structure is based on the objective, whether you're near surface snorkeling, scuba diving, or deep sea diving. So, are there any final comments you want to make on this?
Well, this really depends on your personal goals, and as we're going into the new year, this is powerful because I strongly recommend. Hey, we're going to do year. You need to review your personal plans, your business plans. What do you want to achieve this year? Do you want to get certified as an open water diver? Do you want to make this much money? Do you want to expand into another state? Do you want to get your different certifications for diving? There's a whole bunch of different, first aid diver, master diver. What do you want to achieve? What does your business want to achieve? How
Very
much
cool.
money, and what do you need to do about that? And
Very
deep
cool.
sea diving, if that's your long-term vision, hey, long-term vision, what's the plan in place to get there?
I like that. Oh, Joe, I noticed that you took the mask off and you put it down in front of you. Why down in front of you?
Well, Dave, just like your business, you got to understand things and understand things. If you're a scuba diver, you're going to wear your mask like this. You see my snorkels on the left-hand side.
Uh-huh.
Well, if you look at most snorkelers or people that are just snorkeling, they have it on the right-hand side. Okay, because that's most people are right hand. That's the way they wear it. But if you're scuba diving and you wear it on the right hand side, that's where your regulator goes. You're going to get tangled
Ah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
So divers almost always wear their snorkel on the left hand side because their regulator's on the right hand side.
So
You
here
also
again,
notice.
if you know the kind of business you want to be in, you need to operate and structure it differently. If you're an online business that does not have any customers coming through your door, that's a different physical structure than having a brick and mortar business where people are going to come in and what you need in the way of personnel, inventory, all that.
Inventory, order fulfillment,
Yeah,
marketing, sales, everything is different.
right,
Okay.
right.
And
That's a great
otherwise,
analogy.
if you put your snorkel on this side, you're going to get tied up and tangled up with your regulator.
Right.
And that can cause some big problems.
Understood. Very
Another
cool,
thing is,
Joe.
is you also notice I wear my mask down here.
Yeah, I
Well,
see that.
well, you know why? Because if you're a diver, you know that when you put your mask on the top of your head, that's a distress signal.
Right, right.
So in business, if you don't know that's a distress signal, you're going to cause problems to a lot of your business partners, associates, and customers if you don't know what you need to know before you go diving.
This ties into knowing the industry that you're in, understanding the ramifications if you're going to extend your business beyond your local geography, with California or other states or international, or you want to expand into a new market. If you expand into a new market with a new product or service, you have to understand what's going on in that marketplace, because the things that you may have historically done in market A may be counter in market B. I remember when Chevrolet first introduced the Nova and tried to sell it in Mexico, because Nova in Mexico means something like no good or something like that.
Yes.
And so you really have to understand these things as a business owner. Joe, we're kind of out of time here. I just wanted to say thank you for this. And I hope our viewers have had a chance to learn something. Any final wrap up words that you have?
No, Dave, thank you very much. And look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks at the next Scuba event.